Like, comment, and subscribe to J New Orleans.
Welcome, welcome to the first episode of the Trades That Pay series. This is separate from the episodes, and it's inspired by the fact that it's a lot of layoffs, and some people and many people may feel confusion, suffering, fear, and when it comes to sudden situations, a lot of the times it's harder to come up with solutions for them because you're in the thick of it all. And if you're starting over, if you were laid off, if you're trying to figure out life after high school, there's no shame in rebuilding. There shouldn't really be any shame in anything, but y'all know if you watched any other video, shame starts at childhood. So some of the most successful electricians I know started in their late 20s, 30s, and even 40s. And the reason I know that is because I know a bunch of them. I didn't grow up thinking I know master electricians like a lot of people because they had another career path, but layoffs happen, industry changes, and life throws curveballs. So, what I discovered after learning more about the electrical trade was something most people never talk about. This trade doesn't just give you a job, it gives you options. You could work for a company, you could work for freelance, you can be a contractor, or you can build your own electrical business. And if you manage your money right, this career can fund a very stable future. So in this video, I'm allegedly going to walk through how to enter the electrician industry, the education options, and how to save money on them and the roadblocks people face, and then some other stuff I wrote. It's like I'll be writing stuff, and then when it's time to read it, it's, but when it comes to electricians, right now there are a lot of different people selling homes around the country that have a lot of issues, electricity being one of them. So the job security is there as an electrician. There are so many people that need electrical work, from houses to businesses to new businesses to people living off the grid. Like, you will always have a job unless we go back to the Stone Age and retire technology and everything that uses electricity. As an electrician, you will have a job. So when it comes to layoffs, a lot of the times it may be a field we've always been in. Like, I've experienced layoffs in retail, customer service, warehouse, offshore. Like, I've experienced at least six different career fields of layoffs. And each time I found that my counterparts at work would try to get back in that same industry. But if it's an industry wide layoff and all your experience is in that industry, trying to find a new job based off of a job paying you hundreds of thousands a year because you worked there for so long, it's hard to start over. And a lot of the times it'll break people down from feeling like they're about to lose everything. But I've learned that sometimes you just have to be more focused on the solution than the problem. And when it comes to losing stuff, things are going to be lost in life. We can't stop every loss that we suffer. So the best thing that we can do is just keep our wits about us and always stay focused on the solution, because the way the internet is set up and the way that society is set up nowadays, it's much easier to talk about the problem, talk about who caused the problem, talk about what it's going to do to you, and complain about it every day and just be overall miserable. But that doesn't get you anywhere. Like, the energy we use to vent about things out of our control could be the energy that we're using to do inventory of all of the controllables we have and maximizing what we can do with those. And in my experience, that's always changed situations. But people may not have that experience because if you have people around you who are weak, who are complainers, if you was raised in households with complainers, if your job is with complainers, that seeps into you as well. So you may find yourself more irritable than usual, more likely to not follow up on things because you've spoken so negative about stuff that when it's time to do it, you already believe in the worst of it. What do electricians do? Most people think electricians just install outlets. Oh, my bad. What do electricians do? Most people think electricians just install outlets and light switches. That's only a small part of it. Electricians work on things like wiring new homes, upgrading electrical panels, installing EV chargers, setting up commercial power systems, maintaining industrial equipment, installing solar systems, and troubleshooting electrical failures. Electricity runs everything: homes, hospitals, factories, and office buildings. And as the world becomes more electrified with electrical vehicles, smart homes, and renewable energy, electricians are becoming more important, not less. That's why this trade has remained one of the most stable, skilled careers in this country. And it can't be taken over by machines because with electricity, you need a real person there. Like they may try, but it's not the same as it actually happening. And also, too, in case a person wants to study, maybe before you get to the point of going to school, this is Hoopla I mentioned on the previous video. It's an app that's based through every library in America, allegedly. And your public library at your fingertips. Borrow and enjoy audiobooks, ebooks, comics, movies, TV, magazines, or music everywhere. You have a screen, your computer, your phone, your car, even your TV. All you need is a library card, which library cards are free unless you owe them. Like if you didn't return that book from 10 years ago, you might owe them some money, but don't do that again. Most titles can also be downloaded to your phone or tablet, which I've done that with a few books. Hoopla offers more content in more places, and it's all free thanks to your public library. Look at them trying to be the queen of rap. Titles may vary based on library catalog. And these are not no penny any titles that you see. Like I'm gonna scroll slowly so you can see this. Because if you maybe not always in the mood to go in the library in person, if if you have your library card or if you don't have a library card, you're going to need to go in person and get it set up again, which they probably going to want a piece of mail for whatever your county, or if you live in Louisiana, your parish, for proof, and that's it. And you have access to all of these different things. Like they even have new music out. Olivia Dean, Taylor, Bruno. Yeah, so and I mention this because there's resources in audiobooks and in ebooks and in magazines and also in physical media at the library that you can use to enlighten yourself on mental health, physical health, skills, job market, history. If you maybe want to get into reading and you want to save money, you can literally start a book club based off of the stuff at the library and things like that. The career paths inside the electrical industry are you, and then the good fact about it is that you're not stuck in one lane. Company electrician, many electricians work for electrical contractors or construction companies. Typical pay for an apprentice is $18 to $25 per hour, which an apprentice is someone that is working to get their license. So you don't have a license. You basically are earning your license, paying your dues while still getting paid. A journeyman makes $30 to $45 per hour, and a master electrician makes $45 to $60 plus per hour. Benefits include health insurance, retirement plans, and steady work. With those hourly rates, take that with a grain of a US map because the pay rates around the country are different. So it's like that may be pay rate somewhere, but more than likely somewhere else it's more. More than likely somewhere else is less. But that's just the ballpark, and you can customize that information based off where you currently live, or if you plan on relocating, which I recommend everybody relocate at least once in their life. That'll help you to look up in the area that you're going to. Second type is independent contractor. Once licensed, many electricians choose to work independently. This means you can take on your own jobs like home wiring, electrical repairs, service calls, and this can significantly increase your income because you're charging directly and there's no middleman, there's not any cut, there's not any commission or anything like that. And not to mention, there's a lot of homes, especially in Louisiana, that have outdated wiring that needs to be rewired. So you would have a lot of options. And if you're an ethical person with good morals and you are stern with who you do business with, to where you have good morals and manners, so you only do business with mannerable people, your business could really be something that can change your life, and it can inspire other people around you. If you're old enough, maybe you can start recruiting people in high school, so instead of jacking cars and breaking their cars and doing all of this other stuff, they can actually have something to keep their attention and maybe excite them, because electricity is actually pretty fun if you can handle it. But it's a limitless thing with all of these trades that I'll be going over in future videos, because I noticed that people get stuck in their field and they don't think outside of it. Like, I've literally watched people who got laid off in the security industry and sat unemployed for years because their brain would not allow them to apply for any job that was not a security job. And it wasn't because of the pay rate, because the pay rate was the same as any other job they had out there. And while that's understandable, we all should have preferences on what we do. But when survival is at stake, baby, you can't be saying you trying to survive or you trying to make it if you ain't really trying to survive or make it. Preferences are only able to be used when you comfortable. Notice people who desperate when they dating, they don't have preferences. If a person desperate for money, they don't have preferences. If a person desperate and starving, they'll eat anything. But when people are in a comfortable and safer place, they are able to have choices and preferences because they can choose. That's probably where the beggars can't be choosers phrase come from. So it's like, yeah, sometimes it is understandable that you standing on your square and you're not immediately surrendering to a lower paying job, but you got to read the room, baby. Like, don't let your pride get you to the point to where you seeing stuff getting past due, money running out, and things like that. And especially if you somebody that was living paycheck to paycheck before you got laid off, if you ever are in between jobs, you better be willing to work at a fast food place for a few days, because it's not about, I think some people fear is that you're gonna get stuck there. But for me, anytime I've had to go back to the drawing board, I found that the lower level of the job I started over with, the faster I got back to where I was trying to get to and surpassed it. Because while I was working those low jobs, I was networking with people. I was also able to have a more flexible schedule to take interviews, because if I would have tried to take career fields in the field that I was in, the hours would have been too long and I wouldn't have been able to get a better job. But so, to each his own. And I think that the more people find out themselves as individuals, because a lot of people get their personality, Lord, gum got me sounding like I'm retarded, but personality mixed up in who they're around, family members and things like that. And so a lot of our habits ain't even our habits. It's shared family traits. So you have to build your own individual self when it comes to making life changes. Otherwise, you're going to have people discouraging you. You may be in fear of losing friendships because you work more. You may have a clingy lover. So now that you're studying more, but you're trying to keep it a secret, because you really shouldn't be telling people these types of things unless they're proven supportive to you. Like, I know it's cute on social media to tell the world that we're in school and we're doing this and we're doing that. It's not good, because if you someone who haven't mastered your mental and emotional reactions to outside influence, you setting yourself up. Especially if you may have a setback and you may have a person who genuinely is inquiring about your progress, you feel the embarrassment that you quit, or that you messed up, or that you forgot, or that, so if you can keep these types of things private to yourself, as long as your safety is not compromised by keeping it private, please do so, honestly. And also, just pay attention to what people doing around you. If people are not making moves, them people do not want to hear about that shit. Like, yeah, they'll force themselves to pretend to be happy for you because social media don't want them to feel like they're a monitoring spirit. But it actually is a subconscious attack when a person that you felt was on your level, or that y'all were like in it for life, being on the same level, when they're not on that level no more, when they start learning new words, or they start having new habits, or instead of wanting to be drunk every weekend and sleeping in every weekday, they actually have a plan now. So now your drink buddy is gone. Your smoking buddy is gone. So if you trying to change your life or change your situation, I say this in every video because this is just my personal view of the world based off the places I've been and the people I've been around. But I have yet to see a person struggling with progress that does not have a surrounding that is also enabling the struggle, increasing the difficulty. Even small things as small as maybe you were someone who people depended on, but then when outsiders like myself look at it, them people don't depend on you. They're using you. They're draining you because they're able to get all of their needs and wants when they feel like it. But when the things that they don't feel like doing, they get you to do it, and then they've got you so enmeshed in their well-being and not wanting to be a bad person and not wanting to feel like you leaving people hanging, or maybe you super pussy, no offense, trigger warning, my bad, but maybe you super pussy and you always accepting invites places, you can't turn down stuff. Instead of telling people you don't feel like going nowhere, you'll tell everybody else in your phone, and you'll do all of these different things to get out of it. Baby, y'all got to stand up, because and if you don't stand up, people will keep standing on you. It's kind of like a crowd. If a crowd is running and you get on the ground, they're going to walk over you. They're not going to. Oh, there's a person right there. So either you remember this. Either you stand up for your life or you get stood on, because we love people in our life, but us as people forget that it's still our life. It's a singular life that's being lived. So if you travel through the world, even if you have children, those children are going to grow up and live their own life. Unless you're one of those psychotic parents that force their children to never leave and all of that other stuff. If you're a regular person, you're everyone grows up, they grow apart, they move away, and a lot of the times when you're the only one holding on, people start leaving you. That person that you didn't leave town for because you wanted to be there for them, baby, when they shine come, they leave. People do not hesitate. Like people who struggle long term, you be the only one that be keeping it real. Like you people, and I say this because I've met a lot of y'all. Y'all really be holding people down. Y'all be loyal. Y'all be showing up for people. Y'all break y'all neck and lose sleep to answer phone calls for people to complain about problems they created. And what do you get from it? A life of always feeling like you missed something, a life of always wishing that you did something better in the past, which, baby, I have been there. I spent 20 years of my 35 years on this earth wishing I could go back and change this and wishing I can go back and change that. It wasn't until I became at peace with the present and understood that, baby, a L is a L, but two L's make a W. So for me, I started learning that literally, if I changed the past, I wouldn't have a lot of the experiences to know the things I know, because 80% of my knowledge is experience based. It's not stuff I read. It ain't nothing I heard. I live this stuff. And the wild part for me is that they're like, I know a lot of people, but they're out of all of the people I know, nobody knows everything I've been through in life. Like they know my success, but for every success people are aware of for me, I've probably had 10 to 20 failures for that one success. And it wasn't that I hid it. It's just for me, I've always been one that don't want people to see me bleeding, because they're already bleeding. Society's bleeding every day. So what, I'm not about to add my blood to the pile. So for me, I typically am one that will withdraw when I need to heal, or will withhold words if I feel like I'm going to be negative in situations. And that actually has done a lot for me. That's why I notice I'm always more rested and relaxed. And people who live the everyday life that the internet tell you to live, they always drain, because they think and telling people their problems is gonna make them go away. No, first of all, you don't even know half the time who y'all be telling y'all problems to. Some of the people y'all tell them to be the ones that created them. It's just it's not blatant and it's not outward, so you don't know. But let me get back to this lesson, because this video is gonna be short today. I ain't gonna do that to y'all. Electrical business owners. Some electricians eventually start their own company. This can mean hiring employees, managing multiple job sites, long term contracts. A well run electrical company can generate six-figure income or more, and it can become something even more valuable, a family business. Many electrical companies today are run by second or third generations, electricians. And that's beautiful to see that they keep it consistent within the family. And I mean, and if you have a family, that would be a good idea, but you also have to understand that everyone in the family that's growing up is not going to want to do that. So have a backup plan. Like have a few backup plans for your people to where you can encourage them to become electricians, but understand if they don't want to, because we've seen it. Like literally everything we live right now, we've seen it in movies. We've seen the movies where the child run away because the parent want them to be the king or the queen and they don't want to do it, or they got to marry this person, or if they didn't go to a certain college or go to a certain go down a certain career path, they were shamed because people really were so big on what society thought that they made family rules based off of how they would look in society. And if you made the family look bad in society, you gone. Which is so funny because then that means that the love is conditional. Because if it was unconditional love, it wouldn't be all that. But society slowly realizing that a lot of the things they were raised on, just because it was repeated over generations, doesn't mean it was accurate or correct. And when it comes to becoming like trying to change your field, or if you're experiencing layoffs, my biggest advice is to find something to do in the meantime. Like maybe something very easy that you could keep up with. If you have birds, do some bird watching 20 minutes a day, or if they have a park around your house, walk around the park, or maybe go shopping at a dollar store or something. That way you can get the dopamine from shopping, but you saving money like at Dollar Tree or something. I know people tripped over the 25-cent raise, but it's like 25 cents compared to what the other places charge. And I'm not talking about the additional items that's not Dollar Tree items that they sell for other prices. That's still cheaper than the regular stores. But anyways, just find something to do consistently and keep and create things that can boost your mood no matter what. That may be a long time for a lot of people. I started doing that in my teenage years, where I made a list of songs that could get me right if I was sad. I made a list of movies that would be my safe place movies, to where if I felt really, really broken down, just get in bed or get on the couch and put the movie on and just shut up and watch it. Like create barriers for yourself, because most people in today's society has been so focused on society that they have not built inner worlds for themselves. They have not learned how to have healthy silence, where you're able to have hours without communication with people, and that time is spent within yourself. You still could be physically doing stuff, but you're in your own thoughts. You're thinking about your progress. You're giving gratitude to yourself for surviving everything you survived. Because if y'all up here getting laid off, I'm sure that's not the first thing that happened. That's why layoffs hit so hard to people, because you be then went through other stuff in your life too. Like some people be experiencing a layoff and then a family member be then just die, or it happens simultaneously. And it's like all of these things are bad, but what they're doing is pulling on your emotions. That's why people who find ways to hack their emotions, they be seeming psychotic. Some of them do be psychotic though, but they be seeming psychotic because the weight of emotions, you not letting it hit you. You dodging it. Like it's there, you acknowledging it. You're gonna work on it eventually, but you working through it. And I think that's why therapy would be good for some people. Not the conventional therapy. Like when I say therapy, I mean all forms. Whatever form is safe for you and that could work for you. If you can be healed by it and it's not dangerous, it's not destroying your body or nothing like that, baby, that's therapy. And I encourage people to discover themselves and find out what works for them. And also remember, yes, this is a video about trades and electricians and all of that and money, 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 money. But you still want to stay grounded. Stay grounded in being an electrician. Stay ethical. There are a lot of scammers out there, and it's because of greed. Greed and corruption sit at the same table for Thanksgiving. Greed leads to corruption. Greed starts off small. It starts off with being greedy, wanting all of the toys on the playground. Then you get older. Now you want all of the shoes. Fighting people over getting in line for random stuff. And then when you get older and realize ways of making money, them spending habits still bad. So now you need more money. So you making 50,000 as an electrician, but you see these people over here selling electrician services and not doing it and making money off of it. Now you in there because it's greed. If you look at everybody that you see doing wrong, it's greed. So don't let greed get into you. Stay grounded, please. If you don't have financial literacy, this is the time. Use Hoopla, go to the library, use books and things like that. And There are several ways to become an electrician. Apprenticeship is the most common route. You work under experienced electricians while learning the trade. Programs usually last 4 to 5 years. The advantage is that you're earning money while you're learning. And then another is trade schools. Many technical schools offer electrical programs. These usually take 9 to 18 months. They teach electrical theory, safety codes, blueprint reading, wiring techniques, and trade school can help you enter the workforce faster. They're really good too because a lot of the trade schools, some of your teachers or instructors will also be able to give you a letter of recommendation or be a reference on your application. Or union apprenticeships. Organizations like the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers offer structured training programs. These programs are highly respected and often include electrical training, strong wages, long term benefits. Section 4, ways to save money on education. One thing I always tell people is do not assume training will cost you a fortune. There are many ways to reduce costs. Community colleges often have affordable electrical programs, and they do. I've seen a few of them. Workforce development programs offer grants and training assistance. Like if you live in Texas, a Texas workforce is awesome. Like a lot of people are asleep on them. They have so many grants for so many different classes and trainings and everything. The only thing I would say is make your online profile for whatever your local workforce development place is, because usually when you go there, that's what they have you do is to make a profile and then make a resume and then do different things like that. And many companies will even pay for your education while you work. And some apprenticeship programs are completely free. If you research your local workforce programs, you may find that most of your training is covered. Let me see if New Orleans have one. Let me pause. Okay, so it looks like they actually do. Electrician apprenticeships in the New Orleans area provide a paid earn while you learn path. So that's something that a lot of people could think about, and hopefully this will inspire. But I don't video ain't that inspiring, but I hope it will inspire people to get the word out to other people around them to just look into trades, because this is just one trade. This is just one video that of a series. And because I know that most people who don't do things is because they are not aware of it. So when they see someone else who already was aware of it and already living the life of it, please don't feel bad about that. I'm asking y'all to do stuff that y'all gonna do anyway. So I notice y'all like to do the opposite. So you should feel bad. So I'm telling you to feel bad in hopes that you don't feel bad. So I'm trying to use reverse psychology. Another trigger warning in case you hard of hearing, or maybe you one of those people online who only know how to argue or only know how to insult. But I'm telling you shame in hopes that you don't shame, because y'all do the opposite. That's why. So please shame yourself as much as possible if that's what works for you. And roadblocks. Let's talk about the obstacles. Physical work, electrical work can be physically demanding. So another thing I would say is that if you're going to be like if you currently laid off or if you currently trying to find another job, when you looking up these trades, keep in mind that some of them may have more physical demand. Like one of my changes was going from what was I working at before that? A restaurant to groundskeeping. One was me being in one area for 8 hours, and the other one was me having to cover a whole neighborhood for a multitude of things. Like not even just groundskeeping, it was also assisting the maintenance team and different things like that. So for me, it was a huge shock to my body in a good way because I lost free weight because of the fact that I would never be moving around that much on a regular day, to be honest. So to make it easy for a lot of people, I know that being in a digital era is less movement we do. Even in clubs, people don't dance like they used to. I remember people used to be dancing from the chandelier and on the bars like Coyote Ugly, and people spinning on their head and people twerking with flames and pyrotechnics and stuff. Like, so just make sure your movements increase. That way, when you're switching career fields, you feel better, and also it'll make you feel better about yourself because if you're experiencing any of the things that causes people to need another career in a bad way, keep your mental, emotional, and your habits in check. This is the time where people gain weight and they feel worse about themselves. This is the time where people start developing health issues because they drinking like crazy or doing stuff like crazy. Just try to stay grounded because one thing about adulthood, the problem you think is the big bad today, if you live long enough, there's going to be one tomorrow or next year or that could sit that one down. But the good thing about it is that when you become resilient to these things, you don't even see them as problems no more. Like for me, I have to remember to act like stuff bothers me because of, different legal situations to keep the pressure down. But in real life, I really stopped giving a fuck a long time ago because life is you certain things, like if something is out of your control, like if the weather decide it just won't rain diamonds tomorrow and mess up everything, I can't stop that. All I can do is make sure I'm in a safe location. I know I have insurance, even though insurance out here in Louisiana is, anyways, like, so I just know that all I can do is stay safe, maybe make a rap song about it or record some footage of it. But that's learned behavior because once I realized that it doesn't get better or worse, it's just your perspective of it. Because a good example of perspective is for anybody who found out stuff that they didn't know. Maybe you found out something about a family secret or a coworker secret, or you found out somebody did something to you years ago and you just finding out about it. Do you realize that before you found out about it, you didn't know that that was going on and you felt a certain way about life? But then once you found out about it, all of a sudden you feel the betrayal and you feel all of this stuff. But it's like, as long as ignorance is really bliss. So awareness can be misery, but if you take the bliss from ignorance and apply it to awareness and just pretend, like sometimes you have to, I mean, y'all already know about pretending. I look at social media, y'all pretend so bad. Trigger warning again, because if you don't pretend, I ain't talking to you. Simple. But pretending should be easy, but just pretend on the inside. Cause see, y'all be pretending on the outside, and then y'all be letting the inside be like a volcano. No, no, no. You have to let the outside be for real because that's who you are, and maybe do your little razzle dazzles and stuff, but start working on the inside. And the inside, when you hear the inside, what is the inside? The inside is your thoughts, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about life. How do you, when you hear information, if someone tells you a thought, how do you react to it? Do you actually listen to the thought to understand what the person meant, or do you immediately dissect and attack it, or try to correct them? Or if it's topics such as music or politics or things like that, are you immediately stereotyping them and making repetitive talking points like the people on the internet do? Or that's the inside. The inside is when you think about what you want from life. If somebody asks you what you want from life, are you going to be able to tell them and then give reasons? Like when they on them dating shows, when the people look at each other, they literally only judge from what they saw in that moment, which is hilarious because the worst people in history were the best dressed, looked the best, most charming, and everything like that, as far as luring people in. But when the character was supposed to show up, they didn't have any. And that's why you have so many miserable people who feel like dating is hard, because you're dating people for what you see, even though that's not who they are. There's an inside. You don't know nothing about the inside. But as long as a person could sell you on the outside, you don't care about the inside. And that correlates to people being able to be scammed too. But so back to social pressure. One of the biggest barriers isn't physical, it's social. Some people still believe trades are less successful than college careers, but the reality today is very different. Many electricians earn more than people with expensive degrees. And then the learning curve. Electricity requires precision. Mistakes can be dangerous. So the training period is serious, but that's also why this trade commands respect. And external factors that discourage people. Another challenge comes from outside influences. Friends, family, or society sometimes push people towards paths that don't fit them. You might hear things like, you should go to college instead, or that job is too hard, but every career has challenges. What matters is finding a path that provides stability, purpose, and opportunity. Section 7, daily habits that help new electricians succeed. The electricians who succeed long term develop certain habits. They show up early. So a good way to show up early, get your life organized. Like you could start right now, like things that you know, just take time, even if you need background music or background video, take time to think. Every time I was late, what made me late? What couldn't I find? Was it my car keys? Was it my wallet? Was it my outfit? Did I forget to put clothes in the dryer? Did somebody move my stuff? Shout out to y'all who live with people, because baby, that make all this 10 times hard. But anyways, did the dog hide it? Like, start making your life easier for you to move through it. Because I notice with us as people, we will literally try to live life and make changes with the same environment. Like we will have the same sleep schedule, we will have the same daily habits, same weekend habits, same everything, and then wonder why it's different. Or trigger warning again to my people on dating apps. We y'all used to y'all well we and y'all, because I tried them years ago. We and y'all see all of the weirdness, complain about it, leave, then get back on the same app. It's like it's literally not, you know. Yeah. So electricians show up early. They ask questions, meaningful questions. Like so, when you're asking questions, if it should be something that connects, because usually a question is two parts of your brain trying to connect to each other. And usually, when our two parts of our brain connect, we get that aha moment when we figuring something out. So ask questions. They stay humble and keep learning. Electric codes change, technology evolves. The best electricians stay curious, so they stay updated. They're not going to be one of them people who became an electrician in the 80s, never learned nothing since the 80s. So all you have is information from 40 years ago on how to do electricity. Another important habit is financial discipline. Financial discipline, y'all, because the income in this trade can be strong. But like any profession, long term security comes from managing money wisely, saving, investing, planning for the future. And one thing I could say, if y'all already on social media, make the best of it while you're here. It's easy to say y'all should get off because I got off, but I'm not y'all daddy. Even though I'll be your father figure, but I don't drink the brown liquor. Anyways, so when you want to do something, make your environment tailor to it. If you want to start looking into electricians, follow people that's electricians online. Now, if you have people offering anything that you need to pay for, do not do that, because just like I'm making this video because I see it's a need for people to have jobs, is people out there who greedy and corrupted, and they will use y'all greenness and y'all willingness to learn to try to tell you, oh, for $10 I'll give you a package that'll make you an electrician in 5 seconds. And somebody's out there is going to believe it. And it's not like, for them, why they believed it, I don't know. But it would be funny if people fall for scams and then they be the same people online insulting other people. That's what I'd be liking to see. Because it's like that's why you will forever get scammed, because you're a horrible person and you making fun of people and you just as bad as them. But anyways, and but with social media, if you're gonna be on social media, baby, again, I said it earlier, but don't get to putting everything that you do online. Unless you own your own electricity company and you set the rules, do not be recording everything. Everybody don't need to know what you do. And not to mention, I started social media when I was in high school and I ended it in my early 30s. I cannot tell you how many people I seen lose jobs, lose careers, lose marriages, lose lives over oversharing online. It is no benefit to you. If you are not a content creator getting paid to do that, and even them, they gotta have discretion. Stop posting stuff on the internet. All y'all doing is showing people y'all weak spots, showing people where you live at, giving people constant access to you. You showing stuff out of positivity. You got people plotting on you. You got people who probably don't really rock with you like that, but they keep up with you because of social media and know when to come borrow and beg and use you. Or you might be somebody who live in a dangerous area where people, you think you that dude or that girl with all of this luxury stuff, and people been plotting on robbing you for the longest because they know your life that much. So y'all be careful with social media. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. I'm not telling y'all what to do or what not to do on there, but be mindful of what you do, because everything has consequences. Even if you thought you was the exception, there's a consequence somewhere that you didn't realize. It's a lot of consequences y'all have experienced in life and y'all don't know. But one thing I know about people, I'm not gonna say y'all because I don't know if y'all do that, but I see people like to throw that karma word around. But with karma, if you saying karma for this celebrity, your life is miserable. So is that your karma? So be careful with that. And then final the final three sections, I'm gonna run through them because I don't want this to be an hour. Daily habits that help new electricians succeed. We did that. Financing a safe future. Electrical work can support a stable life if approached responsibly. Many electricians buy homes, support families, build retirement savings, start businesses. The key is using your income wisely, and the trade gives you the earning power. Financial discipline gives you the long term security. And don't quote me on this, but also too, when you do contract work, if people don't pay you, you can put a lien on their property. So keep that in mind. And also, if you're not good at reading, and if you find yourself misspelling a lot of words, please become best friends with autocorrect. If you see red lines and blue lines under your words, do not go past go. Stop. Please correct your words, because I'm saying this because when you're going to be doing electric work, you're going to be reading contracts. Read those contracts. Don't do like y'all do with credit cards, cell phones, leases, and all of that. You really need to read them contracts. You don't have to read every single word, but read each section and the ones that apply to you, the ones that you might need in the future. Breeze them bad boys over. Or if y'all have a subscription to Auntie Irene, aka AI, just upload the contract and have it tell it to you. Like y'all on the internet all day, start using these resources. AI right there. I already see y'all in class using it. So just use it as a tool. It's a tool. And trigger warning to the people who are under the belief that they lost their job to AI. I'm sorry to tell y'all that is a lie. AI is not an entity that could take a job. If these companies want to lay y'all off and cite that as a reason, they're manipulating you because they already know that the stereotype out there is that AI is taking jobs. AI is not even that competent. No shade, Auntie Irene, don't hack my computer, don't beat me up, but AI is not that competent. It's very good with information, but it doesn't have the gray matter that we have in our brain to be able to, I don't know, but yeah, no, it's not AI. It's the corporations. And if y'all tired of companies taking y'all jobs, we as a community should stop with all of these different barriers of race, ethnicity, religion, and realize that none of that stuff is protecting us from all of the shit we all collectively experiencing. And the only way we could stop it is if we collectively stood up to whatever issues, stood up to these businesses, stop shopping with them. But that's a utopia that doesn't exist. Starting young, high school opportunities. One thing many people don't realize is that students can explore electrical work early. Many high schools offer vocational programs, technical training, and shop classes. Students can graduate with basic electrical knowledge and enter apprenticeships immediately. That means some electricians begin their careers without student debt. And that's why this is not something that's publicized. Why would we publicize something that's going to stop student loan debt? Student loan debt makes money for a lot of people. So money greed is what runs a lot of these negative situations. I really have not found a negative situation in society that doesn't is not related to money. Like if you find one, comment down below. But I haven't found one yet. Turning the trade into a family legacy. Let me see if I have another slide left. Oh yeah, I do. Prep steps. Okay. Parents teach their kids the trade. Children grow up around the work and eventually they inherit the company. This creates something powerful, not just income, but generational opportunity. If you're watching this because you're starting over or because you're trying to choose a career, just remember this. There's no single correct path in life, but skilled trades like electrical work offer something incredibly valuable, like stability, opportunity, and the ability to build something real with your hands and your knowledge. Whether you become a company electrician, a contractor, or a business owner, this trade can open doors that many people never realize exist. Well, and that's why I'm here to tell you all about the doors. And if you can bear with all of this stuff in between the information, then you're in the right spot. Because I believe awareness can help in a lot of situations, and people who are willing to take the awareness and make it a an ability, a skill, an advantage. Like because again, if you get in the cycle of always talking about what you do and are wanting to do, you stuck. if any of y'all are the people who've been talking about financial literacy, you wish you knew this, you wish you knew that. If it's been for years, now it's your fault. Because in the beginning, when you first mentioned that you didn't have financial literacy, that was the time for you to change. But you didn't. You continue to spend with the financial illiteracy and the bad habits, and meaning that basically is your fault. But I find that people don't see it that way because they just blame other people. And you can blame whoever you want, but when you blame other people, you take away your power to change the part that you could have changed. So it's not expecting you to say it's my own fault. Don't say it's anybody's fault. Use words of power. We're gonna fix this. They didn't teach financial literacy in school, but I'm gonna before this year, before this month over, before this day over, I'm gonna be done read one page of a book. I'm gonna be done started a journey and stuff like that. But that was that the last part? Stability, opportunity, and the ability to build something real with your hands. And sometimes the career you discover later in life ends up being the one that changes everything. And don't ever let age be the thing that stop y'all. It's literally people in 80 and 90 graduating from college. So save that for somebody else, please. And save yourself. Remember that. Save yourself first, because without you, there is literally like no storyline that includes you in it. Stop the self-abandonment. Practice highlighting the things that you did achieve. If you feel like life is hard, think about the times that you thought it was over and it wasn't. Think about the things that you've done, and think about the people you probably inspired. And if you didn't inspire some people, I don't know. But if you're trying to rebuild your life, remember something simple: skills create options, and options create freedom. And before I go, I actually was gonna say this in the beginning, and I was gonna have the instrumentals and all of that, but no, I ain't feel like doing it. So just imagine the instrumentals to Rihanna's song, "If It's Loving That You Want." This is awkward. If it's loving that you want, you should go get a trade. A trade. If it's a career that you need, baby, come and get paid. Can get paid. Oh. Okay, bye, y'all. Y'all have a great day.
Like, comment, and subscribe to J New Orleans.